So in Canton, Ohio, where the sport had its beginnings, the Professional Football Hall of Fame was born. A home for football history, where visitors are greeted by the legendary Jim Thorpe, whose flowing power and grace are captured in an eternal run for daylight beneath the rainbow dome of the rotunda.
He was named Bright Path by his Native American mother. Most everybody else knew him as Jim Thorpe, two-time Olympic gold medalist and the world's greatest athlete.
Whatever sport you happen to care about in America in 1912, Jim Thorpe did it better than anybody. I mean, if you were a track and field fan, he was the greatest runner in the world. If you were a baseball fan, he was one of the greatest baseball players in the world. If you were a football fan, he was the greatest football player in the world. He happened to be one of the great billiards players of all time, although people don't really know that about him. He was a great ballroom dancer. He won prizes at ballroom dancing.
Thorpe saved his smoothest steps for the gridiron. From Carlisle Indian School in Pennsylvania to the fledgling professional ranks.
He was so elusive as a runner. The men who played against him remembered how he would give you a hip and then take it away. He'd let you think you could tackle him, and then all of a sudden he'd be gone. The hip would disappear, and you'd see his heels.
Thorpe could also run through would-be tacklers. Future Notre Dame head coach Knute Rockne learned that the hard way.
He was playing left end for the Massillon Tigers, and I was playing left halfback. He slipped through and tackled me for a couple of yard losses, and I patted him on the shoulder. I says, "Young fella, you're doing wonderful. But look at all the people up here in the stand that come to see old Jim run. How about letting old Jim run?" So the next time I carried the ball around, I hit him in the head with my knee and hip and bowled him over and went on down for a 60-yard touchdown. So after the point after touchdown, here come poor old Rock with a player under each arm and all wetted down with a sponge, and I walked up and patted him on the shoulder. I said, "That a boy, Rock, you let old Jim run, didn't you?"
The fields were slower and boggier. They had terrible shoes. Their jerseys were stuffed with flannel, and when they got wet, they weighed 15 pounds. He could run like that with all that crap on him. My God, how great he must have been. LaDainian Tomlinson has it much easier than Jim Thorpe ever had it.
There wouldn't be an NFL without Jim Thorpe. In 1920, he gave the newborn league credibility as its first president and its first on-field star. He played for several teams, including the all-Native American Oorang Indians. This is the only footage known to exist of Thorpe playing in the NFL. We know him mostly from faded photographs, yet his legend runs on.
We hear the faintest echo of what he was, but it's loud enough. Had anybody been there to see the real thing, I think we'd call him hands down the greatest player who ever lived.